Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of networkfromhome.com. In today's episode we'll be talking about Ethernet port link lights. If you're not familiar with those are the lights. I'm sure you've seen them. If you plug an Ethernet cable into an Ethernet port and you see these lights around the Ethernet port light up, you might see a blinking one, you might see a solid light that lights up when you connect the cable. Those are what we're talking about here, and we'll give you some examples of that in this video. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to talk about and show you what Ethernet port link lights are, what they tell you, and then lastly how they're useful. So we'll get into all of that today, and let's start with some examples. Let's take it from the top and show you what we're talking about. I have a few examples. It's a little bit of a show and tell for everybody. I'll start off with one of the laptops that I have that has Ethernet port link lights on it. So here's a laptop, pretty standard. I'll bring you in for a closer look here. Let's take a look at the Ethernet port, and in getting a closer look, you'll be able to tell what I'm talking about here. So here, right there, is your Ethernet port. Right below here, there's a little green LED. There's a little orange one here. So this Ethernet port has two link lights. So let's go in, we'll do a test. But before we do that, let's explain what each of these lights does. This green light here, this is simply an indicator that you have a good Ethernet connection. So what does this mean? This means if your device is powered on and you're using an Ethernet cable to connect this device to another one, and the other device is powered on and everything is good to go, there are no issues with the Ethernet cable, this light here, it will light up green and it will stay green. It will be green the entire time that you have a good Ethernet connection. One important thing here to note is this little symbol next to this Ethernet port link light. That's a symbol for a local area network, or otherwise known as a LAN connection. So basically, this symbol here is an indicator saying, hey, this Ethernet port link light will give you a status of your device's connection to the local area network. So basically this is saying, it will light up green if this device is part of a local area network or a LAN. This orange one, this orange link light here, this is one that will not stay one solid color. If everything is working correctly, say your device is connected to the internet over an Ethernet cable plugged into this port, this orange LED will blink whenever your device, in this case the laptop, whenever this device sends or receives data, this link light will blink. And we're going to go through an example just to show you what that looks like. But let's do that now. So first and foremost, I'm going to show you guys. Let's get you set back up here. In order to do this test, we need a handy dandy Ethernet cable. So we're going to use this. We're going to connect one end to the Ethernet port on the laptop. And then just to prove my point, this laptop is powered up. Let me just log in. Let me do it correctly here. So this laptop is logged in, it's on. And then as an example, I want to show you or prove to you that the green link light, which indicates the status of the device's connection to the LAN, that will only light up if the device you're connecting to is also powered on. So I have a docking station here. We're not going to plug it in. We're not going to give it a power source. But what we are going to do is we're going to plug the Ethernet cable into the docking station. And as I explained, So we've done that. Now let's take a look at the link light on the laptop. So one thing that we see here, we've plugged our Ethernet cable into our laptop, we've plugged it into the docking station, and you're not going to see, as we see here, we're not going to see the link lights light up because you don't have any data moving from one device to the other. The docking station is powered off, and there's no data. As a result, there's no data going from one device to the other. And it's maybe not the best example, but it proves the point. So let's show you here and prove that. So if we look at that Ethernet cable, as you can see pretty clearly, there are no link lights lit up. Conversely, what if I take the other end of this Ethernet cable out of the docking station and I plug it into the laptop that my webcam is on? So I'm going to plug it into the side of this other laptop here. So now what we're doing is we're connecting two laptops, both of which that are powered on. Let me see if I can actually get into it. All right, so now it's plugged in. You give it a second here. And what you're going to see, let's take a look at our link lights now. We go in. Okay, so there's our orange one that I talked about. That's the one that will blink whenever your one device is sending data to the other device. And then there's the green link light there. This is one that's going to stay green, and it's going to indicate that you have a good Ethernet connection. Let's see if we can get a good zoom on that. Here we go. Here's a good angle. You can see the green light is staying lit because you have a good connection between the two laptops. There's nothing affecting them. They're both powered on. There's nothing wrong with the Ethernet cable. And then on the other side, you can see the orange light blinking because data is passing from one to the other. All right. Let's say that pretty much concludes our test. So essentially, what is the value here? What's the value of these Ethernet port link lights? Honestly, the purpose is for troubleshooting. If you have two devices that are powered on, you connect them with an Ethernet cable, and that little green light isn't lit up, it's not a solid green color, you know that either something is wrong with either of your two devices, or maybe you have a bad Ethernet cable. You can always try a different Ethernet cable in that instance, see if anything changes, make sure both devices are powered on. That's a common one, is if you're connected to something that's not powered on, you're not going to get a connection light lit up. And then, say you have a connection light, that green Ethernet port link light is lit up, the orange one isn't, but say you're trying to transfer a file from one device to another. You know that there's nothing wrong with the Ethernet cable or the two devices if that link light is green. But with the orange light, if it's not blinking, your transfer is not happening. You're not passing data from one device to another. So that gives you an indication that there's one setting. There's probably a setting or a few settings on one of the two devices that's preventing that transfer from happening. So these are just good things to keep in mind, but thanks for checking in. This is a quick and easy one for everybody. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section below. Check out, I have a blog post that I wrote about this topic as well. It'll give you a little more fine-tuned information on the topic that you can check out. As always, thanks for checking in. We're getting smarter every day here with each thing that we learn. So it's a pleasure. Thanks a lot.